Now, I don't know about you guys, but as an HHN fan, there's always those mazes, or maze in specific, that you really want to be good. However, it just doesn't deliver. Well, that was the case with Saw, the Games of Jigsaw in 2017 at Halloween Horror Nights. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Boo Bros YouTube channel. My name is Scott from SoCalExploring, and if you want to check out my individual channel, you can do so by going down in the description and clicking the link below. But if you guys are new to the Boo Bros, welcome. Consider subscribing down below with those bell notifications on, and leave this video a like at the end if you enjoy it and you want to see more haunt/horror related videos like the one that you're watching right now. Today we bring you another Halloween Horror Nights maze commentary, and one for good reason, because Spiral from the Book of Saw, the brand new movie in the Saw franchise, has just released in theaters. You can only see it in theaters. You can't see it on a streaming service, which kind of sucks, because even though I do want to get back out to the theaters, I kind of like watching these different theatrical releases on, well, I guess they really wouldn't be theatrical releases, but the brand new movies on streaming services. That's one thing that I actually like that came out of this whole pandemic. Anyways, I'm spiraling off topic. You see what I did there? Okay, I'm stopping. So we're continuing the maze commentary series, and today we're looking back at the 2017 Saw maze, Saw the Games of Jigsaw, at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. Now, Zombie Chris, who has kind of been my partner throughout this maze commentary series, who, you know, he does all the Orlando commentary videos and I do all the Hollywood commentary videos, he made a reaction to Saw the Games of Jigsaw over at their HHN event in 2017. So why not give my thoughts on the 2017 version at Universal Studios Hollywood. And like you guys heard in the beginning, this was one of those mazes that I wanted it to be better than it actually was, but I'll share more of my thoughts after we get through the POV right now, which today's POV is going to be provided by Theme Park HD. That is who we're going to be watching over, so we'll leave a link down below in the description to go subscribe to the Theme Park HD channel. They always put up good POVs and walkthroughs and such, so go ahead and subscribe down below. Alright, but let's get into the maze, which was located where Ghostbusters was located at, right across from the 747 soundstage in the back lot. So here we got the facade, which was really neat. I mean, I like the facade. It was simple. It was nice. You really can't do much. Little foreshadowing there. There was a spiral on the other side of the facade. So we walk into the first room, and immediately, spoiler alert, there's a jump scare to your right. Let's see if they caught it on camera. Right there. There's that jump scare from the Pigman, which I really enjoyed, how there was a jump scare right off the bat. Like, it wasn't expected or anything. It was right there on the side. And of course, you saw Billy the Puppet with a blackout actor that was moving it towards you, which I thought was a really neat effect. Here we see our first trap. And one thing that I wanted to note about the Hollywood version compared to the Orlando version is, because I watched the walkthrough of the Orlando house first before going back and looking at this one, is it seems like with the Orlando house, it was trap after trap after trap, and it was just, you know, it was a victim in the trap and they're screaming or whatever, but there wasn't a jump scare or anything like that. With Hollywood, with the majority of the traps, there was a jump scare immediately after. Now, it could have been different in person, so for my Orlando people, go ahead and vouch for me here. Was it different in person? Was there a jump scare after every kill, I guess you could say, of the victim? Or was it literally just the victim there screaming and then you moved on to the next room? Because at least with Hollywood's, like I said, not all of them, but for most of them, there was a jump scare immediately after. Now we move in to this trap, which I believe was from either Saw 2 or Saw 3, where the guy is in the barbed wire and everything. It's been a while since I've watched the Saw movies, so, you know, correct me if I'm wrong here. But this was kind of one of those, you know, it was just, I mean, there was nothing spectacular to this scene at all. It was, you could easily get chain link fences and everything and splatter red paint all over them and have a victim in there. So that room was just kind of whatever, just a transition scene. And then you get into, I believe it's the bear trap. Yes, the bear trap right there, the reverse bear trap. It was cool to see Her digging through a body, of course, in front of black walls in true HHN fashion, or HHN Hollywood fashion, I guess you could say. And you go into another black wall scene. I don't think there's any jump scares in between these black wall scenes like you typically see in Hollywood. Actually, no, I think one's coming up right now. Let's see, is it coming out? No, I guess I saw it earlier, but here's one of those examples of there's a trap and there's a jump scare. I thought that was cool. You get turn around and you're distracted by this trap. You see the victim in there, and then all of a sudden the pigman comes out and scares the living hell out of you right in front of you when guests are least expecting it. Pulling out a door, that is. So, you know, you could really not expect it right there. This one, also another prime example of this character in a trap scene. This was a really big room, which kind of surprised me because you don't typically see this big of a room in a Hollywood maze, you know, for something like this. Like, they could have easily made this smaller. I guess they could have made, like, more rooms with more scares, but I still like seeing this scene in a bigger room, in a bigger setting. And, of course, we still got that jump scare nonetheless. Alright, we move into another room where he's got the infamous box on his head with water as he drowns. I believe there's also a jump scare in here. I like how this one was up on a stage almost and whatnot. Same with this one. The trap was up on a stage, and this was the result of the reverse bear trap. You see the victim sitting there. I actually think that the victim jumped here and there, which was kind of strange. You know, like, she's supposed to be dead. But right next to her was the big man jumping out. There is quite a bit of jump scares in here now looking at it. Now, okay, here's one thing. Okay, so we have the bathroom scene from Saw 1, and you saw flashbacks here and there of the bathroom scene in, you know, different Saws and stuff. And, you know, that's an iconic trap, an iconic setting, because that is what started off the franchise. And obviously you got the doctor who was first in that trap, and you see him throughout all the Saw movies, a part of the franchise. Now in Orlando, they actually had a bigger room, like for the bathroom. It looked super detailed and looked super neat, and it looked like it was actually pulled straight from the set of Saw. With ours, I would have liked to see that bathroom scene replace the axe scene that's swinging in between the victim's body. You know, I think that I would have traded out those two because it's just such an iconic scene and such an iconic traps, if you will. There was also, it didn't show, they didn't get it on the walkthrough, but you actually saw the pigman closing the door and jumping out as a scare as he walked through that maze, you know, kind of resembling when John Kramer did that, and various other characters who did that same little Easter egg in the Saw series. And then we move into the actual Jigsaw, you know, brand new spin-off movie trap. So you got the obvious bucket scenes. Wasn't nothing special. I touched one of those saws. They're foam. Obviously they're not going to put real saws in there, but you actually weren't in a black wall in this scene, surprisingly. You were in more of a gray wall. And then right now, as guests are approaching, you go in this really weird, like, room where all these saws are coming out, pushed out by blackout actors. I didn't really get how that's related to the Jigsaw movie, because this was supposed to be the Jigsaw area. I think that the only Jigsaw reference was the bucket scene, and that was it. I mean, there's no scares in there. There could have been a scare in there. And then we end the maze seeing Billy the Puppet at the end with one more jump scare from the pigman. And there it is. Boom. There he is. And then the maze is over and you walk out. Fairly long maze, though, from what I remember. And there you have it. That was Saw, the Games of Jigsaw in 2017 at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. Now, let me share my thoughts on this, my overall thoughts on the maze. So I'm a big fan of the Saw series. I would go as far to say that it's in my top 3 horror series of all time, you know, aside from Halloween series. Of course, that's the number 1 for me still. But yeah, I enjoy all the Saw movies, and even though some aren't as great as other ones and some are just downright stupid, I've enjoyed them. I mean, the concept of them is fun, and, you know, it's sick and twisted. You can't say that you've never watched a Saw movie in your life. I feel like because the movie debuted in 2017, I think it was like the end of October 2017, Jigsaw, the one of the newest ones, the one right before Spiral that was created recently, this was just a marketing move by Universal. And that's like the general public would know what Saw is, so why not include a mix of all the different Saw movies in one and promise it being the games of Jigsaw, which technically it still is the games of Jigsaw throughout the maze. But as far as what fans were expecting, we're expecting to see more stuff related to the brand new spin-off, Jigsaw, which released at the end of October. But you guys got to remember too, the movie released after Horror Nights had happened, or during Horror Nights had happened, just at the end of the event. So they really couldn't give too much away in the maze other than the bucket scene, which everybody saw in the trailers already. Everybody knew that was going to be a trap. So yes, I can understand that. I can understand where Universal's coming from. Obviously, we've seen that with different movies that they've done that haven't quite released yet. We only get a preview of them. We don't actually get full-fledged out scenes. It's just a marketing move with Universal, really. But yeah, as far as looking at it as just a Saw maze and not looking at it as I was expecting it to be more related to the Jigsaw movie, it was a good maze. I mean, it wasn't that great. Like, I was expecting something a little bit more, but obviously 2017 is deemed as the budget cut year, and because they just came off of 2016, which was an amazing year in Hollywood. I mean, it was a good maze. It was a decent maze. Let me just say that. It definitely was not on the top of my list. I was just expecting a little bit more, and it was fun. It's always gonna be fun to see Saw at the event. Like, if they ever do another Saw maze, if they, do a spiral maze for this year's event, which I don't think they will, I'll still have fun walking through it, and I'll still be excited for it just because it's Saw and it's in the Saw series. But yeah, am I the only one who thinks that the maze was decent? Did you guys hate the maze? Did you guys love the maze? Let me know down in the comments section below, because we do try to read your comments as much as possible. Even if we can't reply to them, we still try to read them and take feedback, and we like to see what you guys think, because after all, when we make these videos, these are just coming off the top of our head. These are just our thoughts, so it's cool to see everybody else's thoughts in the community. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's Boo Bros video, and I heard that Zombie Chris is doing a giveaway for a Blu-ray set of all 7 or 8 Saws. I don't know, go check out his maze commentary video, which will also be linked down below in the description, that he did of the Orlando house, because he announced a giveaway, a very fun giveaway that is, and you guys don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So go check it out if you haven't already. My name is Scott, and you've been watching the Boo Bros, and that's going to do it for today. Most importantly, stay spooky, everybody.